Today we're back down on the south coast where the Saints have played Weymouth in National League South, and we've returned to winning ways. 1-0 victory after two 4-1 defeats against Weymouth this season, it must be said. I don't know if we're allowed to give praise to the manager on these, Ian, but I thought our tactics in that game were spot on. With those two defeats, we could have come in defensively minded, but we didn't. We took the game to them in that first half.
Well, yeah, exactly, and I think the team have to take full credit for their performance, because Chris and myself can only talk to them in what we wanted to try and do, but they're the ones that have to execute it, and I felt they did that superbly today, and immensely proud of what they've come here and done in really difficult conditions. And 1-0 probably flattered them today. We've had 2 or 3 really good chances. Their keepers made 2 or 3 really good saves. But overall, it was just a great performance to come here and pick up 3 points, because that's the most important thing at this stage of the season.
It wasn't only that we took the game to them and we played cohesively as a team quite superbly, but we were just so composed on the ball. There was no panicking. We were getting far more second balls than we've had all season.
Yeah, that's a good sign in terms of where we are. But I think a lot of the stuff, we spoke about Chris and some of the rules he's brought in terms of what we have to do when we win the ball back. I felt in the first half there was probably a 5 or 10 minute spell where we gave the ball away very quickly, but the rest of the time we kept it. We were composed on it. We passed it. And we played to our strengths, and I think again we've come away from home and could have had 10 corners again today. There's things we still have to work on, but as I say, just really pleasing to come away at this stage of the season and to a tough place, because we know how good Weymouth have been this season, and they taught us a lesson in the first 2 games. So it's nice to come here, pick up the 3 points, and now we can come in training on Monday night and set ourselves up for Hemel on Wednesday.
We got the goal right on the stroke of half time. Joe Ishafano's claiming it again with a slight deflection from Zane Banton's shot. I think Joe claims goals in his sleep now. But as well as we played in that first half, it took 2 good saves from Dean Schnedker to keep them out.
Yeah, I think one of them was again, we can be back to controversial. Is it unprofessional in terms that we've stopped for a throw on? The linesman's give us the throw on one of the occasions. Our players have gone to take the throw on, and the referees give it to them, and he's put them on the attack by doing it. And I spoke to him at half time, and as he said there, he probably should have just blown his whistle and given a drop ball, and it would have saved all the problems that was going on. So that was one of the obviously the opportunities they had, and another one he's made a really good save. So apart from that though, he hasn't had any save to make the whole game, which is really pleasing. And we go back to the 3 goals we conceded at Oxford. He really hasn't had a save to make yet. He's conceded 3 goals through deflection. So it was nice for us to get a bit of a deflection today. So yeah, Joe. I spoke to Joe and Zane in the change room, and they're quite adamant that it was Joe's goal. So it was Zane's shot, but Joe, even though he's deflected it, he actually put it past the keeper. And you see the keeper, it's obviously gone one way, but he's made 2 or 3 really good saves in the second half. Their keeper to keep it at 1-0.
You mentioned referee Sonny Gill there. I thought actually he allowed for the conditions, made an allowance for those, and I thought he had an outstanding game.
Yeah, and as I said to him at the end there, I thought all 3 of them did it. It was a really horrible conditions. There was a wind, there was rain, it was gale force, and it wasn't just spitting, it was heavy rain. I thought the game was played quite well. In the conditions it was a good game. There's also going to be 1 or 2 mistimed tackles, but I think there was only probably 1 yellow card the whole game. So we're just pleased to come down here, pick the win up, and we keep saying it's to kick-start our season. At some stage our season has got to start, and though I say today's massively, but I felt when we go back to the Hemel Hempstead game back in October, we changed 1 or 2 things where things started to look brighter, and the last 4 games we've now picked up points, and we've got a tough week ahead. We know that with Hemel and Willstone and Hemel again. And then we go into January, so we've got to come out the next 3 games with more points, because we know all along it's going to be a tough season. We've allowed ourselves to get dragged into a relegation battle. We've accepted that, the change room has accepted it, I've accepted it, and it's just nice to come away and pick up really important 3 points today.
Off the top of my head, I think it's something like 11 points from the last 7 away games.
Is it? Which is good. Again, as I said, we've got to start turning some of our away performances into some of our home performances, and they're the things that we have to do. But it's going to be a long second half of the season, we know that. But I like the change room at the moment. Michael Clark coming back in has obviously gives us a bit more strength. We've got to get Sam Merson back. But again, the change room's good at the moment. We've got some good energy in there. We've got some good players in there, and I'd also like to say to Luton and to Stevenage, the two boys we got on loan have been outstanding. Their attitude, their commitment to the cause, and the way they've gone about their business is a credit to their football clubs, but also to credit to both Frankie and to Jamie for the way they've come in and adapted to what we've asked them to do.
Two substitutions in, taking Joe Ishifano off then and David Noble. I thought they were both having two of their best games of the season.
Yeah, I just think, in terms of the work rate that they put in and just a fresh pair of legs up front, because Joe had played up front on his own today and had worked himself tirelessly. We couldn't get bodies up to him at times, just by putting fresh legs on there. And obviously David Noble's, he's just literally played 4 games, 90 minutes for 4 games on the trot. So today, he's carrying a bit of a cold before the game, but again he's had a good sleep on the coach on the way down here and still feels a little bit rough, but he gave us everything he had, and then in the end it was just about putting David Deheju in there just to go and do a job and just try to do a defensive job and just keep ticking us over. He's won 2 great tackles, David, late on, so it's great for them to come on and get an opportunity, because David's attitude over the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks has been outstanding. He hasn't played a minute of football, but he's the first in for the calls. He gets involved with the warm-ups, and it's just brilliant the way he's gone and behaved himself.
I was at the back of the stand all through the game, couldn't feel the wind at all, could obviously see the rain. How big an influence was it? Because we had it to our backs, or wind to our backs in the first half, and obviously in our faces in the second.
It was tough, and I think in the second half it got even stronger. And you see some of the passes that they made in the second half went out for goal kicks. So I think we spoke before the game about going with the wind in the first half, and hopefully it would die down in the second half. I think it was vice versa. It was twice as strong in the second half. So as I said before, it's sometimes you have to come with these elements and make these things quite right. But there's a man trying to get through with his little baby, and sorry, his girlfriend.
Thank you very much.
And it's just messed our interview up. But there you go. They're the causes that we've had to overcome. Lots of elements today in terms of. I think when we come down here on the coach, David, you'd have seen some of the fields and some of the surrounding areas that they were just literally underwater. So to get the game on today is obviously a credit to Weymouth, and just glad that rain never come 2 hours beforehand, because I think we might struggle to play today.
Lovely, thanks so much, Ian. I think the forecast is a bit better for the coming week, so there shouldn't be any problems with the Boxing Day game. The reason why we're having to do the interview here is because the floodlights were switched off pretty soon after the game outside, and not only was it cold and wet and windy, but it was dark. Have a good Christmas, Ian.